I watched all the new Isekai coming out this season, so you don't have to. You better thank me. I mean, this season alone, there are 9 entire Isekai anime, which, as an Isekai junkie, I'm all in for. And that's not even including the 2 Isekai-adjacent reincarnation anime that are also here. Like, there's so much Isekai coming out this season, and I'm gonna be covering it all in this video, so you know which ones are worth watching. Well, kind of. Look, this video's already long compared to my others, so I'll be covering all the new Isekai that are coming out this season in depth. But for a quick walkthrough of the others, Konosuba. Funny characters who are all terrible people but bounce off each other so well it makes it so insanely entertaining, and that's the point. It has amazing comedy that never fails to make me laugh. Reincarnated as a slime. First few episodes this season were boring, but it's about to slap because big fight scenes are happening and everyone loves big fight scenes. Mushoku Tensei, I can't stop crying. This is the best feel-good, feel-bad Isekai there is. 10 out of 10. Turning point 3 is here, and that's all I have to say. Tsukimichi is also amazing. I'm going to be making a longer form video about it at the end of the season, so look forward to that. All of these are S-Class Isekai, so if you haven't watched them yet, it's your loss. For the 2 Isekai adjacent anime, 7th Prince, very good, made a video on it. Banished Hero, very bad, glad I don't have to touch it with a 39.5-foot pole, but I'm still gonna watch it the entire week through because I like trashy anime. And with those briefly touched on, let's talk about the 5 remaining new Isekai that are coming out this season. To start us off in no particular order, we have Re-Monster, and it's an Isekai. That's a bit harsh. I do like this show. I know for a fact that I'm going to be watching it all the way to the end because it's good enough to finish it, and in that sense, it is a good show. But it could be better. But let me explain what's up with it. Its power scaling is way too fast. I mean, we're only a few episodes in and Goburo the MC, which, quick aside, he and the other 40, I'm exaggerating, but there's a lot, main characters each get a name change in like episode 5, which is crazy. I've barely been able to remember their names beforehand, but now each of them got a brand new name, so I have no clue what their names are. But back to power scaling, Goburo gets multiple legendary items like right away. Like he becomes extremely overpowered really quickly on in this anime. And they have this day-by-day stuff where the number of days he's been there appears, which to be honest I think is really cool because it puts everything into perspective, which we don't really get to see in other anime. And the idea is cool, but it totally works against the power scaling allegations because it's like day 70 something and he's already doing crazy stuff. It's just a bit too fast because like where are we supposed to scale from here? Mythic items? Sorry though, I just needed to rant about that for a quick minute, but the show does do some good things as well. You may think this one's a lot like Reincarnated as a slime, which the concept is actually pretty the same. Human being reincarnated as a monster, then running a monster society. Very similar. But actually, this one's light novel came out first. If we look at Wikipedia, both the novel and the light novel came out before Slime's light novel. So yeah, it's not a copy at all. And I just wanted to add this bit. But some other things I found funny or cool is that the MC wasn't a reincarnation from Earth, so it's an Isekai. Well, he might be. These buildings do look Earth-like, but he has an ability and this knife thing looks weird. And I'm pretty sure people from Earth don't have magical abilities, so yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Also, this might be a surprise to some of you, but the MC actually has sex. Like, he actually has a backbone and doesn't shy away from others when they are straight up asking him for it. This honestly is the first time I've seen an Isekai MC actually do this, and he did it multiple times. So for that, I give this anime massive props. Otherwise, the show's good. It's a good watch, especially if you're an Isekai enjoyer. Level 2 cheat powers, though sounds basic ASF, is actually pretty good. Hear me out here, okay? So like, he's weak at level 1, but when he becomes level 2, boom. All his stats become infinity. Okay, but seriously, this one is of the good trash variety. Like, it knows what it is and that's why the title is like that. There's even a busty fox girl right there on the cover. You know what you're going to get. Unlike Newgate trying to look all cool. But level 2 cheat powers is one of my favorite Isekai this season. To start us off, this one is also an Isekai. If I had a nickel for every time an Isekai came from an Isekai this season, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it happened twice. Like honestly, I don't remember any other anime excluding reverse Isekai that are like this, yet 2 came out this same season. It's honestly kind of weird. Anyways, despite this anime having so many girls to choose from, like there are so many girls in this anime, seriously knows what it is. Our main character actually has a wife like right away. The busty fox girl Reese that is on the cover becomes his wife right away. Though he says they're pretending, we all know it's real. Like the whole theme song is her singing about her husband, and honestly it's kind of a banger, which might tarnish my name for saying that, but I really don't care. It's actually a banger. But despite this anime having so many girls, he doesn't have a harem, which is so incredibly commendable for this anime because too many isekai got harems. Also, the relationship is sweet and I love it. Every time they show the relationship, it's like so sweet and nice, and I just love it. What else is commendable about this anime? It's actually anti-slavery, which if you've never watched an isekai before, you might think that's a given, but let me assure you, most isekai has slavery. Which is just honestly terrible in every way. Like, his original world had slavery for demi-humans and he didn't like it, so when he got isekai'd and saw there was no slavery, he was happy, which on its own is nice, but later when he was fighting the fox girl before she became his ally, he had the chance to subjugate her to beat her in a fight, but he decided not to. Like, the system was yelling at him that the best way to win would be with a subjugation spell, but he consistently rejected it, saying he would not bring such a thing into this new world, which is incredibly amazing. The fox girl even calls him the usual Aruji-sama, which means master, but he didn't like that, so she started calling him Dana-sama, which means darling, which is just great. And they have one of my favorite things. The humans are evil and the demons are good. And I always love anime that do this. I really don't know why, but I always eat it up. This time though, the demons aren't expressly good. Like, they started the war generations ago, but after a long time they feel no need to continue. But there's so much bad blood between the two races that stopping their war really isn't an option. And this is a new take on the thing that I love, so I'm all here for it. And the humans aren't exactly evil either, they're just dumb. Like, they summoned two heroes at once, and the other hero looked better, so they chose him, but he's like way weaker than our MC. And the king is just dumb. His actions made the MC leave, which caused the demons to attack again. And he tried to straight up kill the MC when he first arrived by giving him cursed gear, so he doesn't seem to learn. And this might just be a me thing, but usually when someone, especially a woman, is bad at cooking, they stay bad throughout the whole show, no matter what. But here, Reese, who doesn't know anything about cooking because she's a demon, actually goes out of her way to learn how to cook and actually becomes really good at it, which is such a breath of fresh air. And I really like each of the characters. Though they're nothing special, each of them have their own personality, and the jokes thrown between them always land. And having a cast of characters that isn't overly limited is a really nice thing to add to this anime. I always like watching at least one trash isekai a season, and though Seventh Prince fills that spots for me and then some, this one is a really nice side dish to add. Not too overly amazing, yet not too trashy. A perfect taster if you're looking to get into the hole that is trash isekai. And I'm all here for it. Okay, next up we got Newgate. F tier, GG go next. Fine, I'll explain myself a bit. It's a good anime if you like isekai that are simple. From all the isekai I've watched, this one is like a distilled version of all of them. It does nothing particularly special, and it has everything you'd want to see from an isekai in an isekai, but that's about it. It's mid in every sense of the word. Like, take a look at the premise. The beginning is just straight up SAO. People get trapped in a death game style video game, and then our main character clears the game, freeing everyone but a new gate, just like the title, opens up for him, and when he goes through, he wakes up 500 years in the future of the game he was playing. And after saying that, the concept could be good, but like after that, it's just a basic isekai. MC is OP, MC gets loads of girls, MC hides his strength, MC knows everything. It's basic. Which, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with basic. Some people can enjoy that if they want, but with the pure amount of isekai and anime I watch, I'm looking for at least vanilla ice cream, not plain ice cream. Also, a quick aside before the next anime, but this little fox thing started talking, and I know for a fact that it's going to turn into a girl that falls for the MC, and why do they constantly have to do this? It's just terrible. Editor me here, I was right. The next episode came out, and she's a fox girl already, so yay. On to the next anime. As for Reincarnated Aristocrat, I actually quite like this one. Though the first few episodes are just my man's playing the role of Nick Fury, he himself isn't really strong at all, so instead he starts grabbing up very strong people to join his crew, like the Avengers. But it's still pretty good. Honestly, MC has the ability to appraise someone and see what they're best at. It shows with like these floating blocks around them, and I think that's way cooler than a basic stat screen at least. Though there is a problem. It shows what they have potential in and what they can achieve total. So it's like everyone's futures and abilities are laid out for them, and no matter how much effort they put in, they will never be as strong as they would be with their other abilities, you know? I mean, entire anime have been made with opposite morals, like Banished from the Heroes Party, where the whole point of the show is you don't have to live in a predetermined life the gods gave you through abilities, and you should live how you want. While this one just ignores the whole moral dilemma. But if we ignore the moral dilemma, the whole concept still works out nicely, though it is a bit repetitive. I mean, so far the first 5 episodes have just been him assembling the Avengers, so I don't know how to grow from here. But so far it's decently repetitive. Like, the first guy's story was really nice. He was a race that was severely discriminated against, like he was treated as human garbage. But RMC saw great potential in him, so he got others to see his potential despite his race. And everyone was so surprised by how strong he was, so never judge a book by its cover, kids. But like, what if he wasn't strong? Would they have just ignored him? And the second was a girl who was super poor and a slave, and they rescued her because she had a super strong magical affinity. And the last main peep was a kid whose dad didn't show him enough respect, but the kid was like super smart and whatnot, so RMC saw the strength in him that the dad didn't. And I know that's like the whole point of the show, seeing strength in others that no one else cares to see, so it makes sense that he would be grabbing people from bad situations. But like, I don't know, it just seemed a bit repetitive. Anyways, disregarding the repetition, I actually really liked all the stories. I was actually really emotional on all of them because they were very sweet and wholesome come the end. Especially the one with the kid, it was about family and that always makes me cry. And episode 6 came out recently, and that episode is definitely going to be a turning point for this anime because we are definitely getting into serious territory now, so I can't wait. For the final one we have, it's a solid bowl of Eccentrics. And this one isn't an Isekai, but a reverse Isekai, and those count in my book. If you don't know what a reverse Isekai is, it's when someone from a different world comes to ours. Honestly, the show is just really chill. It's mainly about the 2 Isekais who come to our world, where each have a slice of life where they run into each other from time to time. Most episodes are primarily about one or the other, so let's start with Sarah, the princess with magic. Basically, her stories are about detective work because the first person who finds her is Kappa, who is a detective. And after reading a lot of Detective Conan, she wants to do detective work to be like him. And so she uses her magic and skills to help him out with detective jobs. And the relationship between the two is actually so sweet. She basically becomes his adoptive daughter, and they always hang out, and it's so nice. For her side of the story, it's usually just more lore from the other world or teaching her about the world they're in, which is the Gifu prefecture of Japan. And yes, this anime is just a big advertisement for that prefecture. They make that very clear. But honestly, I like it because we get IRL lore about a real place that actually exists, so I'm not sitting here complaining. And they do this really cool thing where the 2 worlds are actually parallel worlds, where the difference was Oda Nobunaga learning magic, and instead of dying in the war, he crushed everyone and became the first emperor of Japan, and brought magic to his descendants, which is why she can speak Japanese and use magic. And this is just cool as hell. Having a parallel world was just an added nugget of goodness thrown into this show, and it's just really good. For Olivia, the other one Isekai, she's mainly there for comedy and learning more about Earth. From her side, she's way more naive, mainly because she didn't get to be with someone like Sarah did, so she has to learn most things on her own. She's homeless, so she has a constant need for money, so she's always getting picked up by people trying to take advantage of her situation, like this guy who gets her twice so far, where first he gets her a job as a hostess in a shady hostess club that gets shut down. Then he gets her to become a scalper, who everyone knows are the worst, and this anime dedicates like a whole half an episode just to yelling at scalpers and resellers, so they must really have a bone to pick with them. But she also gets invited to join a cult, which she doesn't realize is a cult because of her naivety. Then of course, because she is from another world, she accidentally becomes the leader of the cult in a really hilarious way, but then of course rejects the position. Honestly though, it's the most chill isekai on this list, mainly because it's very slice of lifey, and I just love it. There are no major problems I have with this anime, though it is called Salad Bowl of Eccentrics, but I see no salad bowls. I signed up for salads, but I ain't getting any, so I'm mad. You could say that the intro shows salad every time, and a quick aside, the intro itself is a really good song, along with showing the characters imposed over actual places in the Gifu prefecture, bringing more realism to this anime, so if you don't like the show, the intro is kind of enough to watch it. And you could say that the characters are the ingredients in the salad, and the Gifu prefecture is the metaphorical bowl they are all placed in, this actually being shown at the end of the ending theme with the Gifu-shaped bowl of salad, with all the characters on top of it, actually showing what I said, but I want to see some salad. Anyways, yeah, great watch. Eccentric characters like the title says, no real complaints. If it gives you Sasaki and Peeps vibes, it's because the light novel they're both based on have the same illustrators, but yeah, great anime. And that's it. That's all the Isekai anime that are coming out this season. This video took me way too long to make, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Here are all the Isekai I talked about today. They are also in the description if you want to look at that. And I'm gonna go take a nap now because I really need it. So yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe if you want. But anyways, I'm Ayanoli, and a bye-bye.